everybody, welcome to the Comic Game Movie Show. My name's Deshaun, and unfortunately, I was completely wrong. I'm not taking the video down because I'm not a bitch-ass YouTuber, you know? I'm not one of those guys who's gonna be like, oh, you know, who's gonna delete the video or make another video. No, I was wrong. I was wrong. I completely and utterly thought that all the evidence was pointing towards the Netflix Marvel shows going to Hulu. I thought that they weren't big enough to warrant this fanfare and for Disney Plus to actually change its parental guiding, to change itself to fit these shows on there. I didn't see that coming. I honest to God didn't see that coming. It was a shocker to me. And all day I've been thinking to myself, how didn't I see this coming? Why did I believe so hard, so heavily that these shows were gonna go to Hulu? And I've come to a conclusion, and I finally kind of come to the conclusion, and it finally hit me. What's the word I'm looking for? I was in denial about something. I was in great denial about something. I have grown so accustomed to Bob Iger being the CEO of Disney. And when Disney Plus was first created, Bob Iger straight up top said that we're not gonna put rated R content on Disney Plus. That's what we got Hulu. He basically said that we're not doing that. That's what we got Hulu for. He didn't say he was against making rated R content. He said he just was against putting it under the Disney banner because he wanted to make a clear separation that this is where the rated R content is and this is where the Disney banner is. And for months after Bob Iger had gone away, and now he's pretty much completely gone, Bob Chapek took over. And there's a lot of things going on with Bob Chapek. There's a whole bunch of shit going on with Bob Chapek, pissing off the Pixar people, pissing off Scarlett Johansson. Bob Chapek is doing, I don't know, a job, pissing off all the creatives. But I digress. For months, and this is what I said I was in denial about, because I ignored this, because I've talked many times about John Campea and other people. John Campea, for months now, has said that Bob Chapek wants to merge Hulu and Disney. Hulu and Disney Plus, and he wants to put that stuff under the same banner. And in my mind, for months, I was in denial about that, because I was like, well, look, man, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They're gonna just follow what Iger's, edicts were to just continue to keep Disney Plus family friendly and have Hulu, or maybe expand Hulu, because the only reason they can't expand Hulu is because they don't own 100% of Hulu, but they could if they want to. But they got Star, so maybe you just merge Hulu and Star or something like that. I don't know. But I kept thinking about Iger, and I kept thinking about what he believed, because Bob Iger is, in my opinion, the greatest entertainment CEO of all time. So I was in denial about the fact that Chapek wanted to make this move. So when it was announced earlier today that the Disney Plus, that the Marvel Netflix shows in their entirety, not chopped up, not cut up, maybe I was like, okay, well, maybe they'll chop some of the more violent, no, they're coming over in their entirety, and that you will have to set up new parental, coding and whatnot to put it, if you want, everyone's gonna have to go and do that. It really dawned on me, oh shit, Iger really is gone, Chapek really is here, and they might go this direction. Now, I'm not freaking out, really, because I've said before in previous videos that while I'm against Disney Plus doing this, while I'm against Disney Plus bringing rated R content under their banner, because I just think it looks, it just feels wrong to see the word Disney with the Mickey Mouse and stuff, and the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and all that shit right next to a show that got Luke Cage and Jessica Jones fucking so hard a bed breaks. It just seems a bit weird to me. Feels off. And clearly I'm not the only one. Bob Iger agreed with that. But even in that case, even though I disagree, I am willing to say, as long as you keep it separated, which I'm not even sure they're gonna do that. The way they're making it sound is they're gonna just plop, which, to be fair, this is just the Marvel stuff. So they're probably gonna just plop this underneath Marvel Legacies, and like who's watching, like, anybody who gets Disney Plus for the Marvel stuff, they're getting it for the MCU stuff primarily. But still, this is gonna be under the Marvel. It's probably gonna be under the Marvel Legacies department. So I'm not sure. It's not big enough. If Disney comes out and says we're moving Predator, the Predator franchise, the Alien franchise, the Die Hard franchise, and all their other rated R movies, and then they create a different tab for it, that's the next step. It's really hard to tell what this means. At least what this means is that Disney is willing, Bob Chapek's new direction, he is willing to tip his toes into those waters. Now, I don't think that this means that Marvel / Kevin Feige is going to start pumping out rated R content, because he already confirmed Blade is not going to be rated R. Moon Knight's TV-14, but so is WandaVision, so is Falcon and Winter Soldier, so is Hawkeye, so is Loki. So that doesn't really mean too much towards the argument that they're going to start pumping out rated R content. Not that Marvel Studios needs to. Plus, Kevin Feige has pretty much all but said that the only rated R film that Marvel Studios is making is Deadpool, and that's because Deadpool's already $1 billion franchise, so they can't. So that's kind of out of their hands, and they don't really want to get into it with Ryan Reynolds and shit. So they're gonna just make that rated R. So honestly, keeping it at 100. As long as this doesn't affect the MCU, because I've said it before, the reason that I am so overly, 200% against the MCU making rated R content is because you isolate because you would be isolating family and kids. You would be making an entire section of the MCU that they have no access to, which means that there would be entire plot points, entire arcs that are inaccessible to the grand majority of your fan base. Because I hate to break it to people, and it's like I say it all the time, and it never settles in, and I'm always getting shit talked to me, which I'm fine with. You can talk as much shit as you want to. I say it all the time. Comic book fans / superhero fans, they have you guys have a hard time wrapping your mind around this, because those are the same people who complain about all these things are PG, all these things are for kids, all this and that. The reason is because families and kids / families are what gets the MCU to $2 billion. It ain't you. I'm sorry. We are a niche audience, and I include myself in that audience. The people who know the comics, the people who know what the lore is, the people who watch the cartoon shows, people like us are in the grand minority. We aren't the majority. The people who get these films, who got Endgame to $2.8 billion, are families. Are the kids who go, I want to go see that, Mom, and Mom takes the kids out to go see it. Those are the people who get these films and get these shows. Maybe not on a show level. Now, I will say this. Rated R stuff / mature stuff does tend to work a bit better on television. So there is perhaps an avenue, but once again, would you guys really want that? Would you guys really want The Punisher to be rated R on horror rate R on one thing, and then show up on Spider-Man the movie or Captain America the movie and start shooting water balloons? Would you really want that? And the answer to that is no. And to me, I think I'm not worried really about the MCU. It's why I'm not really stressing about this. This is it's almost a separate argument, because there's the MCU I don't want being touched with any R-rated stuff, because I know that's problematic, and eventually that will pretty much signal the end of the MCU. It won't be immediate, but the MCU has a Star Wars quality to it, where it's a communal experience, where gatherings of people of all ages, of different ages and whatnot, come together to watch these films and talk about these films and talk about the lore of these films together. And it's a generational thing. There are people who grew up watching these films and are adults. There are people who were fucking kids, 11-year-olds, adults now, working jobs and shit. So these films are generational films at this point. But you really chop it at the legs and you start making hard rated R films and movies and shows and stuff in that universe, because then there's a whole chunk of the section of the universe that half of the target audience didn't see. Now, but just sticking to the Disney Plus of it all, I don't like. First of all, parental settings are a joke. I'm gonna just tell you that right now, and you guys probably agree with me. I've been beating parental settings since I was fucking 9. You figure your way around it, you'll figure it out. I mean, half our parents use the same passcodes for everything, so once you figure out the first one, you kind of got an idea for it, or they're too fucking lazy to turn it on. Or they're too lazy to just keep going back and forth, or they just say, or like on Netflix, they'll just put you into like a fucking tab, they'll be like, oh, we got you on the kid tab, and then they just click out of the kid tab. Like, these kids are smart these days. I mean, my mind was blown when I was like about 4 or 5 years ago, when my cousins, who are like 7 or 6, are using tablets, and it's not that they're using tablets, it's that how well they know how to use these fucking tablets. I'm like, you think these parental codes are gonna stop these kids from getting to this shit? No. Now, this could be a test as well. Though they didn't word it that way, this could be a test to see how those parental codes will work. Though, I don't think this is gonna work so well, because unlike Netflix and HBO Max, which were like from the jump they had parental codes, from the jump they had all this stuff, Disney Plus has been around for multiple years without parents having to worry about that kind of thing. So like, I mean, how many parents actually are reading? Like, I didn't get a message. I got Disney Plus. Did you guys get an email or something? I didn't get an email. So, like, how many parents are going to actually be paying enough attention that they know that all of a sudden, like, how many parents are even going to know that Disney Plus, I have to get parental settings for Disney Plus? And their kid's going to be looking at boobs and tits at, like, 5. They're like, oh, my God, man. And, like, I'm telling you right now, do not be shocked if you're going to see a lot of complaints. But I digress. At the end of the day, there could be a good thing here. I am a Marvel fan. And I love Daredevil, all 3 seasons. Season 2 isn't as great as the other 2, but it's still good. Love Jessica Jones season 1 and season 3. Season 2 is a bit... Loved half of Luke Cage, season 1. You know, right around the time they killed Cottonmouth, I was like, and it was just okay. Season 2 was great, though. Season 2 was underrated. Yeah. Season 2 of Iron Fist isn't bad. See, Punisher is a weird show because I know when I posted up something not that long ago about this topic, about like the best Netflix show, and everyone said Punisher. Like, Punisher is the structurally most weak of the show. Jon Bernthal is so good though, but the villain is weak, and structurally it is not that great. It's like, writing wise, like out of all the shows, there is a lot of nothing happening in that Punisher show. The Punisher show was the first show where I was like, yeah, dude, this should be like a couple episodes. This episode should come down a bit. But, you know, The Defenders was disappointing, though it was still exciting seeing them come together. But, you know, like, so I enjoy those shows. Like, granted, the more and more it became abundantly clear that they weren't a part of the MCU, the less I was invested because it was like, oh, well, I mean, none of this really matters. It's not like they're going to show up in Marvel. But, you know, either way, especially, you know what, particularly if they're going to put him in the Marvel Legacy department. Because you just have to imagine that Disney as a brand really wants to be able to put the Spider-Man franchises underneath that Marvel Legacy banner. They want to have all the Marvel content, all the Marvel, you know, digital content underneath that banner, underneath that Marvel Legacy banner, to be almost like symbolic of what Marvel was and what Marvel is now. I don't think this is an indication that those shows are canon. I don't think this is an indication that the Daredevil show they're going to do is going to be a continuation. But then again, I'll find out. Hey, look, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they come out and put him on the timeline. I don't know. But to me, I don't think it's a sign of it being a continuation. But either way, I'm going to wrap this video up by saying I was wrong. I very much underestimated how much power Bob Chapek has right now, because he hasn't really done anything worth note since he's become the CEO. And like I ignored information and things out there that had been out there for a while that said Disney wanted to merge them, just because I thought maybe the cooler heads would prevail and maybe they would, like, you know, because I'm like, Iger's still there and Iger's probably still against this, but, you know, At the end of the day, this is what's gonna happen. It's abundantly clear, because to me, if they weren't gonna emerge or try to put more stuff under Disney Plus, they wouldn't have put the whole parental guidance system out there. I don't think you do that for just 1 or 2 shows, because honestly, the shows are brutal and violent. But outside of Jessica Jones and like season 2, and like there are some sex sequences outside of Jessica Jones, Luke Cage. I saw some of the sex sequences, and you know, for the most part, it's not like that bad. It's nothing you can't just edit down. Ain't nothing like you can't edit down. It's not that hard to just cut from when the actual head drops when Wilson Fisk is bashing that dude's skull in. It's not that hard to do that. None of these shows are hard to edit down so that they're not that bad, you know, and still keep the foundation of the show. So you only do the whole parental thing if you're really gonna have a lot more going on. So I'm not gonna be surprised that by the end of the year, at least by the end of the year, the next time they have like a big call, that they will be announcing Hulu's gonna be absorbed into Disney Plus. I would not be shocked. I would, like, it's crazy to me just because Hulu's been around for so long, and Hulu's been, to me, like I said, Hulu's a great service, still a top 5 service, and it'd be crazy to me to see Hulu just get absorbed like that, and you know, but like, I'm just like, even when I think they would, I always imagine they would just take Hulu and make it a tab on Disney Plus, like the Hulu tab. You know what I mean? That's what I always imagine they would do, and then it would just kind of like change, and you go to like the Hulu platform. You know what I mean? I don't know. But it's sad. But it does seem like this day really does add more credence to that. But either way, I was wrong, and I'm cool with that. You shoot or shoot. Sometimes you miss. Anyways, thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.